When you receive your lines, they'll be in a bag like this, and all the lines will be coiled up and the short ones are straight. Each line has a number taped to it. See the little number bands there, and then the numbers on the sheet tell you where they're positioned in the car. Let's take a look at where they are positioned. Going from the master cylinder, which is a tandem master cylinder located in your footwell, by your feet, the front lines come off the front of the master cylinder. The left front line, which is number 6, runs just behind the steering rack and is clipped on a metal clip right there, and then goes up to the flex line, which is held in by another metal slide clip. That's line 6. The right front, which is line number 5, runs from the banjo fitting at the front of the master cylinder up behind the steering rack, behind the fuel pump if you have one. And there are a couple of clips that hold it. That's very important so it doesn't interfere with the steering rack. This is line 5, right front. Again, to a clip to the flex line, which you should always replace these if you don't know how old they are. And the front of the flex line has a different type of clip. It's sort of like a little hat clip. Line 7, which are the front caliper lines, go from the flex line to the banjo fitting on the caliper. Now this is a aluminum caliper, so that it has a bridge pipe from one side to the other. These are probably the trickiest lines to bend up out of the whole kit, because the exact location is very important, you know, where it ends up. You may choose not to replace these lines if you're not comfortable with bending them up, and usually they're in pretty good shape anyway. In this case, I have replaced the lines. If you've got steel calipers, you don't have to worry about these because you don't have them. Now the rear lines, let's take a look at that. That's line 1. It comes off the rear of the master cylinder, loops up to a union, which is a right angle union, and that's line 1. Line 2 goes into the car, into the tunnel itself, and you can see it coming off of the right angle union. Okay, we're at the rear of the car now, and line 2 has run through the tunnel, on the inside tunnel, and come out the hole in the firewall in the back, and it goes into a brass 3-way union. And as you can see, the brass union is oriented pretty much fore aft, the top of the T, and that's important because it orients the rear lines. The right rear line comes off the back of the union, it runs along the side of the transaxle, and that's line number 4, right rear. Goes to a clip on the body, runs to a flex line, and then attaches to line 8, which is the outer lines. These are identical on either side of the car. So line 8 runs through a slot in the trailing arm and threads directly into the calipers. The left rear line, which is line 3, is probably the most difficult line to replace. It runs from the union, the 3-way union, directly straight up above the torque tube, makes a curve, comes across the car, and kind of pokes out above the pivot point for the trailing arm, and attaches to the flex line right there. This line is easiest to replace with the transaxle out of the car. And there's another line 8, which is the same as the other side, that goes directly to the caliper. You should be able to thread line 3, left rear, over the top of the transaxle, but it won't be ideal unless you pull the engine and transaxle. Well, I hope that's helped you out.